Hello everyone and welcome back. As you can see behind me, the MR2 is now in the workshop, so let's get cracking with the body prep. So yes, thank you very much for joining me once again. You may have noticed straight away that there is a new addition to the workshop other than the MR2. I have now bought myself a proper scissor ramp and I couldn't be more happy. Now I can actually concentrate on the bodywork at eye level, no more bending over, no more sore back. So with that in mind, I have taken the wheels off. I'm going to take the wheel arch liners off because I really wanted to get them off anyway because obviously there's overspray from the last spray job. Also, there is still the bodywork hidden behind here. So I want to get these off, make sure that I prep all the edges here, make sure I prep the edges where the wheel arch liners were. I've still got to take the passenger door handle off, and then I'm going to start cracking with getting rid of this blue. Obviously I haven't got loads left, but I have got a soda blaster which I'm going to try and get all in here in these hard to reach places, here and in here. So hopefully I won't make too much of a mess, and that would be the easiest way of getting rid of this blue paint. That way I can then concentrate on the filler. Like I said, there's only a few jobs that need to be done with the filler. This wheel arch is fine, it's the other one, and then there's a little patch on the roof, and I think there's a small patch on the rear wheel arch. But other than that, there's really not a lot of filler to go. Then we can actually start putting down the high build primer, which that way I can then start to block it down, make sure it's nice and smooth before we put any colour on. I'm not sure how far we're going to get up to today because I've still got to strip down the blue paint off of the spoiler and a couple other bits which I'd already taken off the car. So let's just get cracking and see where we go. Okay, so with both front wheel arch inner liners removed, I decided to take the rear bumper off, and I'd set up a soda blasting area because it goes everywhere. I tested it out and it's just not enough to strip this paint off, which is annoying because I'm not going to use the proper shot blaster I've got because I'm probably going to end up just damaging the bumper. There's already some pitting and stuff on this bumper anyway, so I'm going to have to fill over, but I'm just going to have to go back and try and sand this down as best I can. Unfortunately, I can't reach in some of these areas like up here and down here with the DA, so I'm going to have to just try and hand sand it myself. I did buy some proper blocks, sanding blocks and some strips, and I have got a few other sheets of sandpaper and stuff. So I'm going to have to just try and get into these little areas on the bumpers with them. And then I am going to concentrate on filling up the areas that need some body filler. And then it will just be clean, clean, clean. I need to clean everything out, make sure there's nothing in any of the little gaps, make sure there's no dust on the car, and then we can start to think about putting the high build primer on. But I don't want to rush that, so I want to make sure that every step before that is completely perfect. So let's get cracking on hand sanding the bumpers. Yay!
Many months later.
Okay, so one of the main areas that I'd found when uncovering some repair work was this section here, and as I said in the previous video, I've sanded it down a little bit too much, so now it's not as smooth and it doesn't contour with the body properly. So I'm going to now just take my filler and try and redo it. obviously I'm not too worried about the finish just yet because I'm going to be sanding it down and making sure that that is nice. I've also got some dolphin glaze to go over the top as well to make sure that any pinpricks, any air bubble pockets like that that I would have sanded back are then removed. Right, that'll do me. Do you know what? I really dislike doing bodywork. I've now been here for 10 hours and the car still looks the same. It just feels like I've made no progress. Obviously I have, it's just a real long and slow process getting this bodywork to be the best I can before I lay any paint down. So obviously, as you saw me earlier, I put down some body filler here, on this roof section, that front wing and the rear bumper. Now what I've done since is I've sanded them all down nice and smooth and then I've gone over them with some etch primer. Then what I've done is sanded it down again with some P180 with the little hand block. Now after I've done all this preparation, I'm going to be using some high build primer, which is like a real thin layer of filler but in primer form. So when I've laid that down, I can then block it all down nice and smooth. Basically gives me a second chance of getting everything smooth and as best as I can. So on that tech sheet it says that it has to be P180. So what I've done in a few different areas, same with this wing as well, is I've sprayed some etch primer here because I had some real large bare metal pieces where I'd gone down to the bare metal. And it does say on the tech sheet that I can just go high build primer straight over bare metal, over bare plastic, but I think to be safe, I'm just going to use some etch primer, so I'm going to have to order some more as well. But as you can see, I've done this wing, I've done a little bit of the door section here and this bonnet, and then what I've done is gone over it with a P180, just like I have done on the pieces where I have done some body filler. Now, with the body filler, there's still a few bits I need to do. That front wing I need to redo a little bit more because it's still a little bit wavy. There's still a few little dings and stuff in that wing. Also, on the rear bumper, I have smoothed out the bottom sections. So, on this rear bumper here, as you can see, you have these plastic pieces that, well, little extenders of the bumper basically. But what I've done now is I have body filled them. So I've tried to smooth this in and I've done it on both sides, but I'm just gonna have to go over it again, another layer, maybe two, so I get it absolutely perfect. And then that way, I think that's just gonna be a nice little smoothed out section there, just gives that bumper a little bit of a nicer look, in my opinion. I know that quite a few of the MR2 boys have done the same, so why not? So unfortunately, that is all the time I have got for this weekend. I've got to go do something else tomorrow, which is quite fun, but I really wanted to get this primered today, if I'm absolutely honest. But like I said, the longer it takes me to prep this car, the better the finish I'm hopefully going to achieve. Fingers crossed anyway. So, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next week.